how to jump higher off of one foot. Today we're going to be looking at some of my favorite exercises in order to increase your one leg vertical jump. My name is Seth Thomas. This is Superior Athletes, helping you guys become better athletes for your sport. Before we get more into this video, if you guys are interested in my bodyweight vertical jump training program, make sure to type in the comments below inches anywhere. Make sure to give it a like, and also make sure to subscribe, and I will send that program over to you for free. There's no charge whatsoever. Just do those 3 things, and I will make sure to send that over to you guys. Let's go ahead and get into these exercises. I have a number of different plyos that we're going to go over, and I have a couple different power exercises, kind of a combination between strength and plyo. So this first one that we're going to be looking at is the single leg tuck jump. This one we're going to be eccentrically going down slow, controlled. Once we get to the bottom, that's when we're going up. And of course, we're tucking that knee and then landing with 2. This one's a little bit awkward to do. You kind of have to get used to it as you go along. The more repetitions you do, the more natural it's going to feel. Next is just going to be a single leg jump. And this one, we're going to do continuously. So jumping up, kind of rocking down, landing into that next jump. So let's not land and then load. I want you to load as you're landing on this one, and making sure we're keeping that intensity high. We don't necessarily have to drop the reps down to like 4 or 5 for these, but make sure that intensity is high. The higher the intensity, the more those fast twist fibers are going to fire up. Next is single leg pogos. A lot of these are pretty awkward. This one's really going to work on that bounce and that elasticity. Very good for single leg vertical jump. Next one is a single leg bound series. Okay, so for this bound series, you're going to bound with one leg twice, and then the last one is going to be landing on 2. So the first 2 is going to be single leg bound, and that last land, you're just going to land on 2. By the way, guys, I always say this in every video, so you guys should be getting it down by now, but make sure to get both sides. Do not just focus on the side you're more comfortable with. You will create a lot more problems, and it will not be good for you in the future. So keep that in mind. Next one is going to be continuous high hurdle jumps. Now, a lot of you might not have hurdles or the ability to increase the height on your hurdles. That's okay. You can just use your imagination. It's a little bit more difficult that way, but it can still get the job done. What this creates is, if you just think about a deer, they kind of just glide through the air and they just bounce and they just keep going, right? Separating the jumps far enough apart that where you can have that 1-2 step. So you got a recovery step and then that 1-2 step. Doing these continuous like this just makes you glide through the air. That's what we're looking for here. Next one's going to be a single leg depth drop. This movement is a little more earlier on into the programs because it really works on that loading phase. It really works on that eccentric stiffness of your joints, but you can progress this into a depth jump. So single leg depth jump is what we're going to progress into with this. And you can also progress that into a drop jump. And the difference between that is that it's a lot less ground contact on the drop jump. The last one we're going to go into for the plyos is just going to be a weighted skater. So you can use a medicine ball with this, or you can even use a light dumbbell. Just be very careful with the dumbbell. It's a little bit more awkward, but the idea with this one is if you look at somebody whenever they're loading to go up for like a dunk or a high layup, they have a ball in their hands, and if you look close enough, they use that torso twist to bring themselves up. So there's a lot of core work being involved. So what this is going to do is really work that core rotation whenever you go into your single leg jump. So it's not all about how your legs go and how much you can do off of one leg. We got to get that torso rotation to help with that torque going upward. This is really going to help your high layups. It's going to make you jump higher with the ball, and it's going to help you with your dunks. Let's move on to the power portion now. So there's only a few power exercises I have for you guys today. The first one is explosive step-ups. So with this one, you want a pretty high step up. Don't do just like a couple of inches. You can do it that way, but I would recommend a lunge if you're going to do it that way. So it's like an elevated lunge and then power it up from there. But I like what this is I bring the knee up. I give it a couple of inches before, and then I just stomp my foot down. Stomp it down, and then spring through. Don't let that platform stop you too much. It's going to, but the idea is to try to smoothly go through that whenever you're going into that movement. So that's just kind of like an extra embellishment that I like to add to this one. I think it makes a big difference, and it really puts the body in a certain situation that really translates well onto the court. The next one is a rear foot elevated lunge jump. This one's very popular. You probably also heard it called Bulgarian split squat jumps. This one is so good. It really puts that front leg into a very similar position that we see all the time in basketball, and especially for like one-footed jumps. And it's just such a good position to be in. And keep in mind, we're also focusing on weight and stuff too, is we need to be able to have a certain amount of strength to get through the movement. You know, we can have all the fast twitch fibers we want, but if we don't have that strength to be able to sustain the movement and control it through, it's kind of a waste in a sense. So these aren't the best for like hypertrophy and everything as far as like the muscle strength and the muscle build goes. It is working on a little bit of strength, but it's not as concentrated on the strength. So if you don't have a good amount of strength in the legs, just be careful about that. You're definitely going to want to add some more, some isometric exercises in there and some high compound, slower movement exercises in there as well. So just keep that in mind whenever you're doing these exercises. And then a good progression to the rear foot elevated lunge jumps is a tuck jump from that position. So you're jumping and then tucking the knee and then landing on that. So there's a couple different ways you can do this. I like to reset each time. So land, go back up, and then go back into it, just so we can get that eccentric work in there as well. So I hope this video was helpful for you guys, and I hope this will help you guys to jump higher off of one foot so that you can dunk a basketball or whatever your goals are. If you haven't already, make sure to subscribe, click the bell to get notified for each one of my videos, and I'll see you guys next time.